a third year paramedic student studying at Victoria University in Australia. I'm also hopefully going to get into medicine next year, so fingers crossed. Today I'm just going to give you guys a bit of a breakdown as to what universities that I want to study medicine at, some of their course structures and my thoughts and feelings going into it all. Alright, if you're new to the channel, make sure to check out my other videos like this, and if you like what you see, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe down the bottom. Alright, let's get into it. Alright, so first choice on the board for me is Deakin University, which is just in Warm Ponds. Actually, hang on, it's really hot in here. Much better. Where was I? Deakin. So it's in Warm Ponds, which is just 15 minutes down the road from where I live. So ideal location, absolutely spot on. I've already done a degree there earlier. So when I did my Bachelor of Biomedical Science, majoring in infection and immunity, I actually studied there for 3 years straight out of high school first off. There's great facilities there. I really love the overall vibe and kind of the feeling you get when you walk through it. There's heaps of open space. They've got like a footy oval, soccer oval, gym, 24-hour library. It's really nice facilities, all pretty state-of-the-art, quite modern. I really enjoyed my time that I spent there when I studied biomed. So naturally the location for that is just huge for me because it's just so convenient, it's just down the road. Plus I do volunteer with Ambulance Victoria here as well, so I already kind of understand the area. I know what the hospitals here are like, I know where they are. Overall, just so much more convenient and much easier for me transitioning into my 3rd and 4th year when I start doing my clinical rotations. So the hospitals that you can get placed at for Deakin, you've got Warrnambool, Ballarat, Geelong, and then they have the rural, like only specialist training hospital, I suppose you'd call it. So Warrnambool's like 4 hours away, and then Ballarat's like an hour and a half, and then Geelong is, where I live. So it makes so much sense for me to actually work here, or study here, not work yet. So my volunteering role with Ambulance Victoria, I'm actually an ACO, which is an Ambulance Community Officer. And essentially I follow around with one other paramedic in this town called Anglesea, which is a really small kind of country town, just like 40 minutes down the road from where I live. And essentially I help the paramedic with their duties, assessing patients, treating them, and then we take them to hospital most of the time. And so because Geelong Hospital is always going to be the closest hospital to the Anglesea branch because it's so far away, I have such a good understanding of the Geelong ED and the system and how it works, plus working with a pharmacy. So again, it really just creates that whole sense of understanding and knowing when it comes to the healthcare system within this area for me, which is why, Deakin would be fantastic. Now, probably the biggest thing for me for Deakin, apart from the location, the facilities and how I like the area, is that for application into medicine, Deakin actually have what's like a bonus system. So essentially you get a bonus percentage added onto your overall application score of your GPA, your GAMSAT and your interview when you actually apply. So I think for me, I actually get like a 10% bonus. So I get 4% for having studied at Deakin before. I get another 4% for living in a rural area. So I did most of my studying in Jan Juc, which is like half an hour outside of Geelong, and that's classified as RA2, I believe. So they then bump that up, and so I get another 4% for that. And then I get 2% for some financial assistance because when I was a uni student, I didn't have much money and it's hard. So I get another 2% of that, which brings up to a total of 10%. So with a pretty decent GPA and an average-ish GAMSAT, I should be able to probably squeeze at least an interview and probably a position at Deakin the most, with those 10% bonuses added on top of that as well. So the next uni I'm thinking about is ANU. So that's Australian National University, and that's the main university in Canberra, which is an ACT, or Australian Capital Territory. So that's a really quiet kind of rural town out of the way, and that really appeals to me because I would much prefer to kind of be somewhere a little bit quieter, a little bit more regional, away from the hustle and bustle of the city and the busy life of like living in a metro area. And so I think, Canberra is about 8 hours northeast from me, so northeast, like that way, I think, if I got it right on the camera, that way, northeast that way. So yeah, a bit of travel, but I would be willing to make that move up there if I got accepted. There's some cool places to see up in Canberra as well. Like they've got the Australian Parliament House, they got Australian National Gallery, so that's awesome because I like a bit of art. And the biggest issue though is there's no beach. So I would seriously struggle without a beach, because I've grown up on a beach my whole life. It's going to be hard. It would be very difficult to not have a beach to just go down and walk and go for a swim or something. As for the actual medical school, it seems pretty cool. Like, it seems like a pretty thought out, structured, nice university and course structure. Like, I haven't actually gone there myself, so I don't know how well the facilities are, how well it's all laid out and looks and stuff. But just from their website and from some things that I've seen, it actually looks like a pretty good school. They also have a really heavy integrated research component into it, which, to be frank, I do not like research whatsoever. I did heaps of it in my biomedical degree and I wasn't a fan. But hey, medical research could be different. I could find something I really enjoy, I really like something like cancer or something like that. Something really interesting, who knows? I might click with it, totally vibe with it and go from there. ANU actually offer in their 4th year of study the opportunity to go overseas and study in another country, which is incredible, totally compels me, and one of the biggest reasons I'm really interested in their course. So it's a mandatory elective, but they let you choose what country you want to go to. So I imagine it would be out of a certain list that they have partnerships with or whatever, I'm not sure. Like, to me, that just seems like such a cool little opportunity to really go out there and experience and explore and get a bit of an understanding of like a different healthcare system, a different way of living, you know, a different understanding and appreciation for how the healthcare system and hospitals work overseas, and probably pick up different tips and tricks and some skills that you wouldn't have picked up here in Australia, and then be able to come back and apply that to my clinical knowledge and my patient care, and just overall be a much better, more accomplished physician, which, yeah, awesome. One little caveat though, not entirely sure how well that's all going to go with COVID. But who knows, maybe in 4 or 5 years it'll be fine and we can travel again. Who knows? Also, according to their website, they've apparently been rated like the most employable university for the graduates to get a job after they finish their degree, like 4 years in a row. So yeah, for whatever that's worth, that's pretty cool, I guess. So with ANU's application process as well, they actually reserve 28% of their applicants for rural applications, which is great because I will be a rural application. So to me, that also makes pretty good sense. It gives me a little bit of a chance, opens up that pathway that just might make it a little bit easy to just sneak in through those little avenues. So yeah, that's why I'd be applying for ANU. I mean, it'd be great, it'd be a nice little place, good to explore, and they also give you guaranteed accommodation when you move up there. So I'm sure that would probably just be uni housing or something, but you know, still great that they offer it. So good on you, ANU. The last uni is University of Wollongong, which, you know, is just there, the university in Wollongong, and it's in Sydney, in New South Wales. So I've never actually lived in Wollongong, never been there, never even seen the town, but apparently they call it the New Geelong of New South Wales. So sorry if you know, don't know Geelong or don't live in Australia, it's okay. I don't get it either. I think it's got something to do because it's a small regional town near a beach. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, I think Wollongong is about 10 hours northeast. So I've got my compass again, never eat soggy. I think you guys are about there. So about 10.5 hours northeast. So up just before Sydney, a little bit further than Canberra. However, I'd be happy to make the travel up there if it's, I'm sure it would be a great place to live. I've been to Sydney a couple times. Not the biggest fan of the area. I just, don't know what it is. It just never clicked with me. I never really enjoyed it. But hey, that doesn't mean that Wollongong won't be nice. And I've never actually been to Wollongong. I've never lived there, never stayed there for an extended period of time. So I'm sure, as I said, I'm sure it'll be a great place to study. So again, I suppose coming back to the whole theme of this application process, Wollongong do have a natural preference for rural applicants. So again, great for me, gonna be rural, woohoo. They also have portfolio admissions as well. So that just means you just have to, submit to them a form essentially outlining certain characteristics and commitments outside of your schooling life and in your everyday extracurricular activities that could help contribute to you being a good doctor in the future. So essentially the portfolio is trying to gauge your commitment to these 4 key characteristics. So it's leadership, service ethic, they have capacity to work with others, and high level of performance in an area of human endeavour. So like, for example, because I do my community service stuff with Ambulance Victoria, maybe in like service ethic, I would then say, I work as an ACO, an ambulance community officer in a rural town in Anglesea. I help paramedics, assist unwell individuals and do assessments and give back to the community and really, create that sense of community and that want to be a part of people's health. So I've also done some volunteering with SES, which is the State Emergency Services in Victoria. And essentially they're just an organisation that respond to calls of distress from community members and from other organisations when they need some form of specialised intervention or care. So for example, if say a tree's fallen on the road, we can chop that up and move it if the council can't get there on time. If a house is flooded, we can sandbag it until they get some more specialised intervention to come in and kind of fix up the house and re-gutter it or whatever they need to do. And they also help assist the emergency services within Victoria. So you've got the fire, police and AMBOs. They will actually help them for extrication or any other issues that they might need, whether it's lighting at night, whether it's to help, break open a door in a car crash or climb down a cliff and kind of bring someone up who's had a paragliding accident or something, for example. So I don't actually volunteer with them anymore, but again, that's just something else that I've done in the past that can help contribute to my portfolio and build up my overall application, I suppose, and make me look like a more desirable applicant. So there you have it. That's probably my top 3 universities that I would apply for. I'll give you my preferences in just a second. However, I'm not only going to apply to just these 3 universities. These are going to be the 3 that I most want to get into. I would be the most overjoyed and the most willing to commit to and study to. That doesn't mean I'm not going to apply to the others. I still most definitely am. They're just going to be down the list and they're just going to be consolidation unis essentially. So if I don't get any of these 3, then I would be happy to still go and study elsewhere. I'm not only going to limit myself to just these 3 universities. I think that's ridiculous. Because if you want to study medicine, it shouldn't matter where you study it. The MD is all the same. It's just in a different area. You just go and complete it regardless. Because at the end of the day, nobody cares. And if you want to be a doctor, you got to do it somewhere, so you may as well do it anywhere. After going through all them, essentially my preferences would be Deakin, number 1, mainly just because the location, 10% bonuses. I genuinely think that that is the university that I have the highest chance of getting a position in, without a doubt. So I would apply first to Deakin with Commonwealth supported place and then Bonded Medical Place as second. I would then go to ANU, so number 2 would be ANU, Australian National University, mainly because their course structure seems really cool. I would be more than happy to move to Canberra. I think that'd be a nice quiet little area to live, and they have the overseas thing in 4th year, which just seems totally cool and wild, and I would be totally blessed and grateful to have the opportunity to be able to do that throughout my course structure and my degree. Which leaves number 3, University of Wollongong. University of Wollongong, I think I have a pretty good chance to get into as well, just being a really rural focused school and I'm quite a rural applicant. However, furthest away, not entirely sure on the town. I'm sure the degree is fine, it's probably just run-of-the-mill medical degree. So that puts it as number 3 for me. So thanks again guys for tuning in. Yeah, hopefully this has given you a little bit of insight maybe into the universities that you might think of applying to, or just could have been interesting to listen to, I don't know. If you've enjoyed this or you haven't checked out my other videos, please make sure to go do that. And if you like what you see, please hit that like and subscribe down the bottom because it really does support me and it just helps me to keep making these videos. Feel free to leave a comment below about what medical schools you're thinking of applying to, or if you're already in medical school, give us a rundown about where you're studying and how you find it and what you enjoy about it. I'll make sure to definitely check them out and respond to you, and who knows, you might change my mind. Alright, until next time guys, see ya.